We're in southeastern Iowa, close to the Cedar River and not all that far from the Mississippi River. We are on agricultural land that has been pasture and timber and crop ground for the last 150 years. I'm Mike Hutchison. I'm the founder and executive director of Iowa Parrot Rescue, located in rural Muscatine County, Iowa. We've been in operation for 27 years, and we are home to currently 61 parrots of 26 different species. It began with a canary being gifted to Abi, and then a friend was over for dinner and saw the canary and said, "Oh, you've got a bird, will you take mine?" And it escalated from there pretty rapidly. In 9 months, we had 6 birds in the house. We decided to become a rescue. We incorporated, got our nonprofit status, and growth from there has just been kind of organic. As more resources became available, as more needs became apparent, we've expanded. In the past 27 years, we have handled just closing in on 2,000 birds total. Our job is to take in birds that people can't take care of themselves for whatever reason and rehabilitate them as needed and then find new adoptive homes for them. A bird comes to us when someone perhaps has become too old or is ill or has developed an allergy, or in some cases even people die, and they leave birds behind. And then we take them in, and our first mission is to check their health. We have a visiting veterinarian, Dr. Jennifer Bach-Van Area, who comes once a month to examine the new intakes and any other birds that might need checkups. And once we have a read on their medical condition, then we begin the physical end of rehabilitating. That'll frequently involve trimming beaks, trimming claws, sometimes treating wounds. Also, the majority of the birds who come here have dietary deficiencies or problems. Many of them are liver related. And so we will use various herbs in treating that. Our first go-to with any bird that has a liver involvement is going to be milk thistle. We also will use a lot of nettle that gets dried and distributed on their food, and that's nettle that we harvest here on site. We also, where they have an injury or an irritated skin or anything like that, one of our first moves is to go with some plantain oil, which is also harvested and produced here on site.
The parrots have taught me a lot. They've taught me a heck of a lot of patience. You really have to be patient with these guys. They've taught me kind of how to take a lot of things in stride. So they're a really large inspiration when you're working with them, because you see how they adapt to different stressful situations, and you can kind of adopt. You can kind of adopt that. Come here, baby. I'm Sarah Kadlec. I am the parrot welfare facilitator here. I do most of the day-to-day things, so the feeding, cleaning. I take care of a lot of the adoption visits and a lot of the adoptions themselves. I handle a lot of the surrenders as well, any boarding clients, things like that. So most of the day-to-day stuff. Folks don't know that they're very social and don't understand exactly how that plays out in their day-to-day wild lives. So when you take a parrot and you bring it into captivity, even if it's 2-3 generations outside of its wild counterparts, it's by no means a domestic animal. And their social behaviors can be seen really evidently in captivity too. For example, they still grieve the same way that a lot of wild birds do. They interact with each other, even if it's not in friendly ways. It's still important for them to be able to act out any of these natural behaviors that they have, like frustration, and kind of teaching them how to work through that. And a lot of friendly behaviors too. We have birds that have bonded in a way. They're not paired up completely, but they are friends. And when they're separated, it's pretty evident because they react to that, either whether that be, body language or vocalizations. And each bird is so individual, you sometimes don't know what their reaction is going to be like until you do something and really understand the full aspect of how this relationship grew. Every bird that comes in, we have a full blood work panel done, which includes a chemistry panel and bile acid test. The bile acid test is kind of our first line of defense to see whether or not they need to be treated for liver disease. That's a really good indicator that they have something going on that's a lot more specific than some of the general liver tests. A lot of our diet is geared towards improving liver issues, and we say that because probably a good 50% of the birds that come in have some form of liver issues. We cut and cook about 4 sweet potatoes a day. That's an excellent source of vitamin A for them, and a lot of parrots lack vitamin A in their diet. They have a larger nutritional need than a lot of folks realize. So we try to make sure that we get enough of that into their diet. Hello. The base of their diet, aside from the frozen vegetables and fresh vegetables, is also going to be pellets. We feed Harrison's, which is a completely organic diet. Got wonderful ingredients in it, and it's one of the best on the market, essentially. We want to do everything we can to really improve their lives, and we've found that when their nutritional needs are all met, behaviorally, they are so much easier to cope with.
Once we've got them physically in good shape, then we have to look at their behavioral patterns and see, do they like anybody? Do they like some people and not others? Do they prefer men? Do they prefer women? Are they terrified? And to begin to work with stabilizing that. And then when we have a good read on their behavior and when we know that they are medically sound, then they become available for adoption.
I love everything about the parrots. They're incredibly intelligent. They are so empathetic. Even the ones that don't like you, you still have a relationship with.
Hello?
Hi. Of course, the tricks are really fun. The talking is fun. They are so excited to see you. Even the ones that don't like you, sometimes they're still excited to see you. But, it's a very different experience to be able to hold a wild animal. But we have this trust and this bond that you don't really get from anything else, Hi. To have a wild animal trust you with everything they have, with their health, with their mental well-being, is huge.
I think the thing about parrots is that they are so individual. There just aren't any generalizations that you can make about their behavior, their wants, their needs. Do you like me? Yeah, she likes me.